Hey everybody, Koricon Nala here, and this is my spoiler-free review of Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets, directed by Luc Besson and starring Dane DeHaan, Cara Delevingne, and Clive Owen. This movie is based off of a comic book from like 1970. I think it was the late 60s, early 70s. And it's the basis for a lot of sci-fi that has come out since then, mostly known for Star Wars. There's a lot of things in this comic book that were inspiring the visuals for Star Wars, some of the characters and things like that. So when you see this movie, you're going to see a lot of parallels where you're like, oh, that's from Star Wars. Not really. Star Wars is from this. It just came out a lot later. So those kind of things I don't see as a negative. A lot of times I'll see a movie and I'll say, oh, they took this from this movie, or this is basically a rehashing of another movie. But this one is different. You see a lot of parallels for other sci-fi movies. However, those movies took from this one. So that is not a negative. The visuals in this movie are stunning. They are great. The CGI, it's very CGI heavy. Most of the movie was filmed with a blue screen. There were a couple of set pieces, but for the most part, all green screen. It's a good thing and a bad thing. The good part of it is he gets to make these amazing creatures that really match the comic books. You have some great, amazing visuals of landscapes and creatures and all this stuff. But the negative would be the human actors in the movie aren't very believable. They're not doing a great job, just like the prequels for Star Wars. They don't have anything to use as a basis for their acting. It's just green screen. And that always takes away from the acting. There's very few actors that can give a great performance surrounded by a green screen. And this is not one of them. So the acting for Dane DeHaan and Cara Delevingne was not the greatest. Their chemistry wasn't very good. It wasn't very believable that they were in love. Their banter, though, was pretty good for the most part. I would say half the time they had great banter. The other half of the time it fell flat. And some of the jokes fell flat. Not as great as The Fifth Element. In The Fifth Element, you had a lot of practical sets and a lot of creature effects, but practical like puppets and stuff. And the actors had something to play off of. And I think the script was written better for the humor and dialogue. This one falls short of that. But you will see a lot of visuals and creatures that remind you of Fifth Element, especially costumes, just the overall appearance. It feels like almost a spiritual sequel to Fifth Element. But I also think Fifth Element drew a lot from Valerian, because Luc Besson wanted to make Valerian for a long time, but didn't really have the resources to pull it off. Now he does. As a movie, I think it's going to create a cult following. I mean, you're going to have people that will be talking about all the different creatures. Whenever you have a sci-fi that has a lot of cool creatures, they become almost more famous than the movie itself. So we'll probably see a lot of Wikipedia pages created for all of the individual characters, just like they have in Star Wars. Well, we'll get a background of them, and that part will be fun. But overall, I don't think it's a great movie, but it is watchable and a fun time for the visuals. Some of the characters, Rihanna kind of surprised me. She had a couple of lines that fell flat, but for the most part, I thought she did a great job. And her character was very interesting. I also really like how they set up the movie. So you wonder, a city of 1,000 planets, how the heck does that happen? In the beginning credits, they give you how that happens. They show the evolution of how it became the city of 1,000 planets and the fact that it's still growing. I really liked that. I was impressed with that in the beginning. The rest of the movie didn't go as well, but it kind of stayed along that line. So overall, I enjoyed the movie, but it could have been better. It is something I would watch again, but not something I would buy. If you do, however, get to see it in 3D and you're interested in seeing the movie, I would highly recommend seeing it in 3D. Personally, I am not a big fan of 3D movies just because I think 3D is a gimmick just to get more money out of people. But there are a few movies that utilize the 3D properly. Avatar would be one of them because that was the first movie that was actually filmed with 3D cameras. Beowulf, way back in the day, around the same time, that one utilized the 3D pretty well. And then there were a couple of other movies later on that did utilize them. This movie, I think, would actually utilize the 3D properly and well. Like, it would add something to the value of the movie. So if you're interested in 3D or you don't mind paying the extra money, I would highly suggest seeing it in 3D. Otherwise, 2D is perfectly fine. That's how I saw it. So I didn't see it in 3D, but I do think it would benefit from it. Overall, I'm going to give this movie a grade of a B-. I did have fun with this movie. I liked it. Now, I did see Dunkirk right after it. I literally had 2 minutes to go to the bathroom and then go and see Dunkirk. So when I got home, I was living off of the high of Dunkirk, and it kind of made this movie feel a little better because of that. But after sleeping over it and getting a full night's sleep, I decided B- would be a much better grade. And I didn't really think about their relationship because it kind of fell flat. I think they could have done a lot better with that. However, I don't think it's the actor's fault. I think it's the fact that they were acting on green screen, and it really should have had a lot more practical effects. But the creatures were fun. But what do you guys think? Did you see the movie? Did you enjoy it? What did you like? What did you not like? If you haven't seen the movie, does this review make you want to see it or not see it? I would be curious. Tell me in the comments below. If you're on VidMe, upvote this, give me a follow and share it around. If you're on YouTube, like, share, subscribe. Tell your friends, and I will see you on the next video.